Today's podcast is brought to you by StrongHeartAcademy.com, where no heart is no victory. We are also brought to you by BJJ to go. If you want to build your game and learn Jiu-Jitsu, go to bjjtogo.com. Hi, I'm Professor Mike Martin. I'm a third-degree black belt under Kyle Terra. I own and operate Strong Heart Academy in Phoenix, Arizona. We're in North Phoenix, 32nd Street in Union Hills, just next to the 101 or the 51 freeway. Pretty easy to get to. Today I want to talk about men versus women in martial arts. Is there a difference? Should they train together? Should they train separate? And today, I have tried having women's only classes, and I do think that a lot of women feel comfortable doing that. The thing that I would say is, for self-defense purposes, I believe women should train with men. And the reason I say that is because, unfortunately, men are the one creating most of the assaults, in not just sexually assaults, but assault and robbery and things of that nature. Most violent crime is done by men. Not that women don't. It's just less likely. And I think women on women crime is even less likely. So I think a lot of times when women create violent crimes, it's either against their own children, unfortunately, or against men, not women against women. So, training with women is good, women versus women, women with women, but I think that it is beneficial to train with men who are generally stronger and bigger. So it's not a surprise if you have to defend yourself, like how, oh my goodness, this guy is so much bigger and stronger. If you're 5'3" and you're training with another girl who's 5'5", most men are about 5'9" to 6 foot in America, and that this average goes throughout the world, but it's different. But in America, which we're at, those are your averages, and I think the average man is probably around 170 to 200 pounds. So average woman is probably 120, and maybe less, 90 pounds, between 5'3", 5'6", even 5 foot. And, if you're training with only women and you happen to go against a man, that is a very big difference in size, and with gender. So I think it is very, we have plenty of women in my academy that can tap men, and it just speaks to the concept of technique versus, and could conquer all, technique over strength. And, just because you might lack the strength doesn't mean that you can't get stronger, but you might lack the strength of a man does not mean that you cannot defend yourself. And dealing with the strength and understanding and feeling the strength and size is beneficial, in my opinion. And the good news of training with only women is supportive. And, women supporting women, I think, is amazing and great. And so, the women in my academy, I know when a woman comes in, they're excited and they want to help them out. And that's what we want. We want women supporting women, and encouraging, because it's very difficult sport, and jiu-jitsu can be hard, and we don't want women to think that, I can't do it because I'm a woman, and that's not helpful thoughts. And we want other women to go, look, I can do it. We believe you can do it. And I believe that to my heart, that women can do just great in jiu-jitsu. And the truth is, they're better students because they listen better. And that's a little sexist, I think, on my part, but I think women are better listeners. They have less ego in that department. Sometimes when I'm teaching men, their ego goes, well, I think I know the technique, or I think I know how to beat whatever, and they tune out and they don't focus on the details, where women want to get the details right. They're listening and active listening to the details, and they want to do it right. And that's very helpful. I know, especially with girls, when I'm teaching young girls, not just women, but young girls versus boys. Boys is really hard for them to sit still. They're just more active, in my opinion. And girls can sit still and they can just pay attention. They're just better at paying attention. So as a professor, it is definitely easier, in my opinion, to teach women, and they're more attentive to listening and wanting to get better. And not that men don't want to get better. They're just men are very competitive, but they're not always like trying to learn the details of how to be better. Not all. Some are, but not all. As far as like men in my academy is definitely more men, and I think this is throughout any academy. I don't think there's any academies there's more women than men. I've never seen that. There's very few female professors that are out there. There's just not as many, and it's because there's less women doing it, and so few people make it to black belt. So if out of 100 people that train, maybe 1 or 2 might make it to black belt. And so if you get those numbers, you might have, your school has 10% women. So you might have, let's say you have 100 students, you have 10 women, So if 1 out of 100 make it, many of those women won't make it out of those 10, so if any. So it takes quite a few women to get to that, to train, to be able to have 1 or 2 that will push all the way through to being a black belt. And so I think sometimes women get discouraged. They're not seeing as many black belts. So one of the things for our brain is good. It's helpful to, if it's seen, it's been done, we go, oh, I can do it because I've seen it happen. You have like ideal to see. In sports this happens too. Like the first person to run a 4-minute mile, took forever, and then after it happened, like I think it was like a month later, 2 more people broke that milestone. It has to be seen, and then okay, it can happen, and think, and then people are willing to try to break it. It's like their brain can't get over unless it's been done. You need the trailblazers to do it, and the female trailblazers, there are out there. There's just not as many, especially not in the valley. There's maybe, I don't know, 5 females that are black belts, and many of them are Brazilians that came into the valley. They didn't do it here. They did it in Brazil, and then they came out here. And then a lot of the other women are wives of the owner of the academy, and so they had a lot of access to the owner to train with their husbands a lot, and to get there. So not all women have that. Like, not most women, their husbands aren't academy owners. So I think they need to understand that women could be black belts, no problem. You just have to do the work like anyone else has to do the work. It's no different from a man or a woman. It just happens to be more men doing it. So, the numbers are skewed in that fashion. I don't think it is a gender thing as far as like the ability to make it happen. It's just not true. There's plenty of men that never make it to black belt. It takes a certain type of person that's willing to work hard for a long time to get what they want to achieve. And I definitely believe women to do it. And I definitely believe it's a great stress reliever. It's a great empowerment, giving women empowerment to feel that they're confident, that they can defend themselves. There's so many scummy men that hurt women, and I want women to be protected, and not just by men, but by themselves, protect themselves. I used to do a lot of women's self-defense seminars, and I would hear this all the time. Well, my husband, he's a tough guy, and but I'm like, your husband doesn't go to the store with you. Your husband goes to work. He's not around you 24/7. You need to be able to defend yourself when he's not around. And that's great that you feel like you're confident in your husband's ability to defend himself. First of all, he doesn't train, so I don't know if that is even true. He just might be a bigger guy, but like he, might be overweight or whatever, or have a weapon, but you don't always have your weapon on you. You need to be able to defend yourself. I think it's crucial, and that builds your confidence. And I think that's great for women. And for men too, your ability to defend yourself makes you stand a little bit straighter, and I think it's great to have that feeling of confidence. I don't feel nervous going out places. I feel I can defend myself. I'm a 6 foot 195. I'm not a giant guy, but I'm in shape. But for many years, I was much smaller, 6 foot, maybe 160 for years. Over 20 years of jiu-jitsu, I put on 20 pounds. So hopefully I have strength. But I felt even when I was, a purple belt and I was about 150, 160, I felt I could defend myself as a purple belt, not being a very big guy. But 6 foot 160 is thin, very thin. And I always felt, I can protect myself and my family. And so that's a very powerful thing, I think, for a man wants to know that they can still defend themselves and defend their family around them. The confidence that gives you is tremendous. And staying healthy is also tremendous. So many men, you get a certain age and you get married and then you let yourself go. And I don't think that's helpful for your spouse or you. We want to stay fit and healthy for our kids so that we can see them grow up and have grandkids. And part of that is a healthy lifestyle. So for men, I think it's so important to maintain being healthy and not just like work, home, work, go home, work, go home. You need another outlet that helps with the feeling as a man to be competitive, be healthy, and the confidence that you can defend yourself. So those are some of the differences, I'd say, with men versus women in martial arts. It's both beneficial for both, and we want to protect our women, and we want them to be able to protect themselves as well. And I think these are all healthy ways of living and healthy ways to go about our lives. So hopefully that helps you guys think about, the access for maybe women training jiu-jitsu and men, and how we like to blend the classes together. I just think it's beneficial. Now, there are also going to be camps out there that are just women only, and I think those are great. I always encourage my women to go to the all-female camps in the Valley. They're run by some good people, some good ladies that I think are great at jiu-jitsu. And again, that's going to give you that camaraderie with other women and support. I think support is helpful, but we have enough women in our academy. I feel like they help support each other as well. So hope that helps. Peace.
Let me talk for just a second, help me feel that sense of rhythm. Find the meanings in our bearings and discover this position as a stage along the way. Another rung to the ladder, either stalling or you're climbing, and I'd rather beat the ladder. Instead of getting fatter, let the footsteps resume naturally.